you want to purchase a car that's $8,000 and the requirements for the car lot is saying that 20% down, you would have to find 20% of the $8,000, pay that upfront, and then every month you would have to come in and pay off the remaining balance. That's what higher purchase is. So in this picture, you're seeing that what is this? It looks like a front room set. And the cost, before I go into the question, we're going to just view. Sometimes all the information is right at the top. The cost or the cash price for this front room set is $2,500. So if you want to pay cash, you would pay the entire $2,500 and that's yours. The higher purchase plan now is deposit of 25% plus 12 monthly payments of $175 each. I'll say it again. The deposit is 25% plus you're going to come into the store for 12 months and pay $175 each. Remember what higher purchase is. It is the deposit plus your total monthly payments. So let's go through the question now. The first question says, Sandra wants to buy the set above on the higher purchase plan. So she chose to use the higher purchase plan, which is box to the right. First thing we need to do is we need to calculate the amount of the deposit. Can someone tell me what is the deposit amount? The deposit amount is given in percent. So I don't want you to give me the actual amount. I want you to tell me which number is representing the deposit. You can type it in the chat. Which number is representing the deposit? Thank you. The 25%. The 25%. So the 25% is representing the deposit. Now, whenever we're finding the deposit or the down payment, it is always of the cash price. So we're going to find 25% of the cash price. What is the cash price? Someone again type in the chat. What is the cash price? Good. The cash price is $2,500. So do not be confused. When you are finding the deposit, it's always of the cash price. Write that note in your book. So it's going to be 25% of the $2,500. So how do we find percent of an amount? It will be the percentage out of 100 multiplied by 2,500. Now, some of my students are in here and some of my old students are in here. And I always say this, when we have zeros in the numerator and zeros in the denominator, we can cancel out the zeros, making the numbers smaller. By canceling out the zeros, what we're technically doing is dividing by 10. If we cancel out 1 0 from the top and 1 at the bottom, if we cancel out another from the top and the bottom, then we're dividing by 100. I realized that there are 2 zeros in my numerator and there are 2 zeros in my denominator. What constitutes to my numerator? All of the numbers at the top. Every number in the top is the numerator. So that's 25 and that's 2,500. So I can take off any zero in my numerator at the top along with any zero at the bottom in my denominator. Although these two fractions are split up, at the numerator, everything in the top is the numerator. So what I'm going to do is follow me. You can only take off even pairs. So I can take off 1 0 at the top. That's dividing by 10, 1 0 at the bottom. If I see another pair, meaning top and bottom, I can take off 1 0 at the top, 1 0 at the bottom. Now, if there's an extra 0 at the top, but there isn't one at the bottom, I cannot touch that top. Okay? So let's write down the remaining factors. We're still finding 25%. The remaining factors would be 25. At the bottom, I have a 1 left, multiplied by 25. That's this 25. At the bottom, I have a 1. So now, because I have 1s at the bottom, I can simply just multiply, leaving that with 1. And what is 25 times 25? Y'all can work that out. Tell me, what is 25 times 25? Remember, for the BJC, you cannot use a calculator. So you might as well start practicing now. Once you have the answer, go ahead and send it to me. And what are we doing? We're multiplying the numerators across, multiplying denominators across. Okay. When we multiply 25 times 25, good. We have 625. 625. So 625 we have. And 625 divided by 1 is just 625. So the amount of the deposit here is 625. So that's the first question. The amount of the deposit will be 625. If you have any questions about that, you can let me know. I'll say it again. The deposit is always, if it's in the cash form, if it's in percent form, it's always of the cash price. And you're just finding the percent of an amount. So 625 there. Now, the total monthly payments. Again, we're still on the higher purchase plan. So if we go up, it says the deposit is 25% plus. If you know, and everyone in here should have an idea of algebra, plus means to add. So this higher purchase plan is already telling you what to do. It says deposit 25% plus your 12 monthly payments. And that's what higher purchase is. It is the deposit plus the total monthly payments. So if I want to find now the total monthly payments, this bottom is telling me what to do. It says 12 monthly payments of means to multiply, right? So it's telling you 12 monthly payments multiplied by 175. So take this down as another formula for me. Take this down. Total monthly payments equals total months multiplied by 1 month's payment. See there, it says 12 monthly payments of 175 each. So the total monthly payments will be total months multiplied by the 1 month's payment. So now that I said that, can someone tell me, what am I multiplying? Give me the numbers that I'm multiplying. What are the months? Oh, I shouldn't say, what are the amounts that I'm multiplying? Let me see. Good, I am multiplying. Good, Janaya. I am multiplying 12 and 175. Good, Regina. Let's go. So we're multiplying 12 by 175. And higher purchase is a topic really, because it's a real life topic, and all of these paper 2 questions really are more applied Once you understand the concept, like I said earlier, you should not go wrong. Maybe with a calculation here or there, but you apply the concept correctly, you get your follow-through mark, even if you're off by a point. So the total monthly payments. So it will be, let's follow this formula. Total months was 12 multiplied by, every month you're going to go in and make a payment of $175. So if you started paying this in January, you will make $175. February, $175. March, $175. April, $175. May, $175. Straight up to December. Okay? So let's multiply. 175 by 12. What do we have? Good. 2,100. Thank you, Janaya. 2,100. Wrong column, right here. $2,100 or $2,100. Now, I'm not gonna tell you the answer for this one. I want you to tell me, what is the total cost of the set on hire purchase? Earlier I gave you a formula. So what is the total cost of this set on the hire purchase plan? Let me see who remembers. What is the total amount? What will this person pay if they decide to use the hire purchase plan? My chat is open. Okay, Janai, that's correct. Good. When you're sending the answers to me, everyone, try see if you can send it directly to me. Good, Daria, that's correct. As many person as can, I want you to send the answers. Demetrius, I want to see your answer. Denitria, okay, I see Denitria, good. Remember, you just found the total monthly payment. Now we're finding this question. What is the total cost on hire purchase plan? Check that, DJ. I gave you a formula at the beginning. I said hire purchase plan or hire purchase is equal to blank plus blank. So how would you tell me what the hire purchase plan is? What is the cost of this item on the hire purchase plan? Okay, so hire purchase is equal to, I'll put it here again, HP is equal to total monthly payments plus the deposit. I gave it to you as deposit first since we found deposit first. You have to remember this. Hire purchase is equal to deposit plus your total monthly payment. Remember, you're paying something down, and every month you are going to pay a certain amount. So all you need to do is add them. My deposit, found this, the deposit was $625, right? And when we found the total monthly payment, we had a total monthly payment of $1,200. So if I add those two together, my total monthly payment $625 plus the $2,100, we got $2,725 as the total hire purchase. So if you got that, good job. Now, for you choosing to pay with hire purchase, it's not free. You actually pay more. You pay an interest. You pay an interest. It's called, so that more is called an interest. So you pay an interest on this bill. So how much would she have saved by paying cash? The question is asked, how much would she have saved by paying cash? We saw if she chose to pay using the hire purchase, her hire purchase amount was $2,725. For our hire purchase was $2,725. And anyone remembers what was the cash price? The cash price was, it was at the top, it was $2,500. The good thing is you wouldn't have to remember what the cash price is, because all you would have to do is go and look at that page. If we go up, so the cash price was $25. So it says, how much would she have saved by paying cash? If she paid cash, then she would have saved. You can see that because the hire purchase will always be more. So what you would have to do is you would have to subtract the two. So on the side, I'm going to subtract the two, put my answers in. So that would be $2,725. This was her hire purchase. Subtract the cash price, which was $2,500. And you can see right away here that she would have saved $225. She would have saved that. So to find the savings, that's another formula: hire purchase, subtract cash price. So take that down, please. You should have three formulas: hire purchase formula, the total monthly payments formula, and now the savings formula. So savings is equal to hire purchase, subtract cash price. Now the last question, which always comes last, it says to express her savings as a percent of the cash price. And just how you are reading this question, students, you are going to set this up. It's asking you to express her savings as a percent of the cash price. What this is asking us for is to express one amount as a percent of another. And I'm sure you would have done this in class when you did percentages, probably in grade 7 though. That's a long time. So express her savings as a percent of the cash price. So we have to set this up. One amount over the next amount multiplied by 100. That's how we express one amount as a percent of another. So which number goes in the numerator and which number goes in the denominator? It says express her savings as a percent of the cash price. So watch how we're going to break this up. Express her savings. We found her savings. I'm going to go up here. We found her savings to be $225. So express her savings as a percent. It's as a percent of the cash price. What was the cash price? $2,500. Okay, so we express, fraction would be the savings over the cash price, and we multiply it by 100%. So partial over the total amount multiplied by 100%. Okay, someone gave me the answer already. But what we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead. I see zeros at the top, zeros at the bottom. So we're going to take off those 2 zeros at the numerator with the 2 zeros at the denominator, writing back the remainder, which is 225 over 25, multiplied by 1 over 1, which is just a whole. Okay. We have to reduce this fraction to its lowest term. Let's reduce this to its lowest term. Let's think about 25 cents. Let's think about 25 cents. Other than that, we can choose the highest common factor, which is 25, and just divide. Or we can choose a factor and keep dividing. Any one will give me the answer. I know that 25 is the highest common factor between these, because if I think about 25 cents and I think about $2.25, how many 25 cents can I get out of $2.25? Y'all think about that question. How many 25 cents pieces is there in $2.25? Let me see if we get it that way. Type the answer in the chat. How many 25 cents? Good job, Regina and Demetria. Awesome. Let's separate it though. Think about it. If we have $1, right? If we have $1, how many 25 cents can I get out of $1? And I would always tell students, when things are being divided by 25, think about 25 cents. Good. So I can get 4 25 cents out of $1. So that's $1 down. I need another dollar to make $2. That means there are another 4 25 cents pieces in $1. Another dollar. Now there's this extra 25 cents. So that means there's a 1.25. Now if I add up all of them, good, you would have 9. There are 9.25 cents in $2.25, which means express her savings as a percent of the cash price, you would have 9%. There it is. Now, for those persons who think that's a bit abstract, you can go ahead and reduce. In class, your teacher will show you how to reduce, but sometimes we can go ahead and use just use money, because I know y'all like money and y'all know how to count money. So if you can, just use money. So let's go. If I use the reducing method, okay, and let's say we don't use 25 as my HCF. If I use 5, that will take some time. So if I go ahead and I divide by 5, 5 goes into 225, which means you're going to have to do long division here. And that will give you, I need some space. I'm going to erase. I'll erase this. $2.25, and we're reducing. If I reduce by 5, add the numerator, I'll have 45. And add the denominator, I would have 5. Okay, so we have one more step. If I divide by 5 again, in the numerator, 5 divides 45 9 times. 5 divides 5 1 time. So you still end up with your 9%. And you have the percent symbol because remember you're multiplying by 100%. So any method works, okay? Whichever one is comfortable for you, that's the method that you would use. And this is our first question on hire purchase. We're going to do another one. I want us to get into simple interest, because sometimes the simple interest is attached to hire purchase. So just take that down, those persons who don't have it. And I'm going to get another sheet. It said that was 2,000 page. That was paper 2 in the year 2000. So what I'm going to be focused on mainly in these classes, because time is going, and I think the BJC is soon, I'm focusing mainly on paper 2 questions, which would be BJC SE Core and BJC paper 2. All right, let's begin this question. I'm going to let you work on your own so that if you get stuck at a point, that's the point you're going to tell me is your problem area. So the question, I'm going to read it. It says the sale price of a car is $15,200. A 10% discount is being offered for paying cash. The car can also be purchased by making 24 payments of $755 each. Calculate the discount. So discount means that you're getting something off. Good, that's the first answer. Calculate the amount of the cash discount. So you have to find 10% and subtract it. Or 10% simply means to divide by 10. Move the decimal point one place to the left, and that will give you your answer. That's a shortcut. Whenever you're dividing by basis of 10, meaning tens, hundred, thousands, 10,000s, and so on. If you're dividing by 10, you move the decimal point that's behind the last digit one place to the left. If you're dividing by 100, you move it 2 places to the left. 1,000, 3 places to the left. If you're multiplying, then you would move to the right. So in this case, we are dividing by 10. So you can move the decimal point that's behind the last digit 1 place to the left, and that will give you your 10% discount. Okay, so calculate the amount of the discount. It says the sale price of a car is $15,200. $15,200. A 10% discount is being offered. I need to find 10% of this. So it's going to be 10% over 100 multiplied by the 15,200. Again, there's my zeros. There are 2 zeros at the bottom, 2 zeros at the top. That's removed. What is left? My remaining factors will be 10 at the top over 1 at the bottom multiplied by 152. 152. Those zeros went. So if I multiply across, I'm left with 10 times 152. That will give me 1,520. That's 10%. With 10%, all you needed to do is drop one of these zeros. Okay, so calculate the amount of the cash discount. The cash discount is this. It says, number 2, what is the cash price of the car? What is the cash price of the car? How would I find the cash price of the car? If the discount was $15.20, then how do I find the cash price of the car? Give me the steps. I see persons are giving me answers, yes, but what did you do? Tell me the operation you did. Just type the operation in the chat. And a part of understanding is a part of you explaining what you did. So if we had 15,200 and the discount is 1520, we have to subtract. Good. Subtract the cash price and the discount. Thank you, Regina. Subtract the cash price and the discount. So if I subtract, that's 0, 0 is here, 0. This would be 1. That's 0. That's 8. That'll be 4. That's 11. What do we have? Good. I saw this coming in a lot. So what is the cash price of the car? The cash price of the car is 13,680. Good. Then it says find the cost of the car if the payment plan was used. So what will be the cost of the car if the payment plan was used? Listen, read the bottom for me. It says the car can be purchased by making 24 payments of $775. In this question, they did not require a down payment. It's just saying that the purchase can be made, the payment plan can be made by making 20 payments, that's your monthly payment, of $755. What do? We find our total monthly payments, which would be the 24, and I see the answers. I see the answers coming in good. 24 by 755, and this would be our hire purchase. So this would be 24 by 755. Good job. Good. I see a lot of persons sending this answer in, which is 18,120. That's the monthly payments, total monthly payments, total month, by the 1 month payment. Now, last question. How much money would be saved by paying cash? That doesn't change. How much money would be saved by paying cash? Now, this is a tricky question. If you read back, it says the sale price of a car is $15,200. A discount is being offered by paying cash. So if you pay cash, you still apply that discount. So that means this is the cash price of the car if you pay cash. So now, how much would be saved by paying cash? Remember, the savings is what? Hire purchase, subtract cash price. Hire purchase, subtract cash price. Okay, good. I see Empress, Thomas, and James. Good. The rest of you, let's find it. How much would be saved by paying cash if the hire purchase was $18,120 and the cash price is $13,680, and we subtract that, then we would have 4,440. Good. So the savings would be 4,440. That's a lot of savings. Okay, if you did not get that, please take it down. If you have to write the question, you probably could take a screenshot. Take a screenshot so that you can have this. Any questions on hire purchase? I'm going to move on to simple interest. If you have a question, send it directly to me in the chat. So let me see if I can find one more question like this. Okay. It says the cash price of a television is $650, an easy manageable number. And then it says it is sold on hire purchase with a 10% down payment. Good. So it says down payment and not discount, followed by 6 equal payments of $120. First thing, we are going to write deposit or down payment is 10%. Remember, what do we find the deposit of? Cash price always. So it's 10%. Then total monthly payments, we know that it will be 6 equal payments of $120. So it's 6 months, and for each month it is $120. Okay, so now let's calculate the down payment. I see some persons gave me $135. Let's see if that is correct. So it's 10 over 100 times the TV cost $650. So zeros at the top. Now, I like this one because my zeros are in different places. But remember, I said everything at the top is the numerator and everything at the bottom is the denominator. So I can take off 1 0 from my numerator, 1 from my denominator. Then I can take off 1 from my numerator and 1 from my denominator. So once it's in the numerator, you can take it off. What's left? 1 over 1 multiplied by 65. So let us see. 1 times 65 is going to give me 65. Let me see what y'all have. Okay, I see some persons with 65. Good, good, good. Okay, so 65 is my down payment. Okay, let's go to the second one. Total amount of monthly payments. Monthly payments, total monthly payments is equal to total months, which is 6, times the 1 month's payment. That'll be 6 times 120. If we multiply 6 times 120, 6 times 0 would give me 0. 6 times 2 would give me 12. Carry the 1. 6 times 1 is 6 and 1 is 7. So therefore, the total amount of monthly payments is $720. So I see $720. I see Demetria. Good job. Janaya. I see Tajanique Solomon. Daria. Empress Thomas, James, Adagio Hannah, James Dean. Okay, good. So the total amount of monthly payments is $720. Let's go on to the next question. It says the total cost of the television on hire purchase plan. There's a formula. HP is equal to deposit or down payment, same thing, plus total monthly payments. So we add our deposit, which is $65, plus our total monthly payment, which is $720. What should we have? $785. Good. $785. And then the last question. Amount saved by paying cash. Amount saved by paying cash. That would be the hire purchase. Subtract the cash price, which was $650. So we subtract that from the hire purchase plan, we would have $135. Awesome stuff. So $135. I see you have it. Those persons who send your answers, good job. So this is hire purchase. Those persons who were able to get all 4 of them correct, good job with this. Now for our remaining time, we're going to go to simple interest. Simple interest. I want you to take this down, please. So simple interest is equal to principal times rate times time. Principal, that's the first thing. Principal is the amount borrowed. R. P. In parentheses on the side of P, I want you to put principal there, please. It's spelled like the principal of a school. Okay, so PRT. And then amount. Okay, just take these down for me, please. Daniel borrowed 5,000 from the bank for 2 years at simple interest per annum. How much interest Daniel is charged, and then the total amount to be repaid to the bank. So the first thing we need to identify is our principal, our interest, and our time. Again, what is the principal? The principal is the amount borrowed or loaned, or the amount that sits in the bank. That's what the principal is. That is the amount. The rate, you would always know the rate because there will be a percent symbol attached to the rate. You would always see a percent symbol attached to the rate. This rate is calculated in percentage. Then the time, you would see years attached. Rarely will months come. But in a case like that, because this question says per annum, that means per year. Per annum, per year. So if it comes in months, then that means you would have to convert it to years. So let's say that, let's just think out loud. Let's say that we have 36 months. How do I convert 36 months to years? First of all, we need to say how many months is in a year. There are 12 months in a year. So if I want to convert 36 months to years, I would have to take that 36 and divide it by the 12, which will give me 3 years. Okay? So if it comes in months, because the question says per annum, you cannot take that 36 and multiply it in, because that's not what the question is asking for. It's saying per annum, per year. But like I say, rarely, and I think the months would come more so on the BJC. But just in case it shows up, you would know that you would have to convert that months to years. Okay? So let's go with this question. It says Daniel borrowed 5,000. First thing, tell me what's the principal, what's the R, rate, and what's the time, T. You cannot do anything until you identify those 3 things because the formula calls for it. The formula calls for simple interest. And again, how do you know that this is a simple interest question? You see an amount, you see year, and you see a percent, as well as it says simple interest. Because I think that's where sometimes students would be confused, like what formula to use there. But it says simple interest. So the first thing you would do before you start this question, once you identify simple interest, you need to write the formula. Write the formula down. Simple interest is equal to P R T over 100. And if you don't have a formula book by now, you should get one that you created yourself. Write simple interest formula. Write your areas of your shapes formulas. Write your circumference formula. So all the formulas you would need, your higher purchase, you would write that. Write these formulas in this book so that when it's time for your exam, you would already practice them and you know them. So let's go. So tell me, what is my P? Good. Denial principal is equal to 5,000. Your years is equal to 2 and your rate is equal to 9. Now, sometimes math teachers will teach you to convert that 9% to a decimal. By you dividing by this 100, that's converting that percent to a decimal. So you don't need to go ahead and convert that to 0.09 and divide it by 100. By you dividing it by 100, that's you converting it into a decimal. So you can choose to do either or, but not the two. So let's go. Simple interest, that's equal to, my P is 5,000 times my R, which is 9, times my T, which is 2. And we are dividing that all by 100. There's my zeros again. So what am I going to do with these zeros? I am going to cancel them out. 1 0 at the top, 1 at the bottom. 1 0 at the top, 1 at the bottom. You've just divided by 100, leaving me with my remaining factors. 50 times 9 times 2 over 1. Multiply small numbers first, or single digits first. 50 times, we're going to multiply these two together. 9 times 2 is 18. Then we would multiply 50 times 18. And then tell me your answer. $900. Thank you. 900 is the interest. The interest is in dollar amount. So that means that the interest alone from borrowing $5,000 is $900. Not percent, $900. So simple interest, how much interest is he charged? He is charged $900 interest. $900. Now, the amount is the interest. Take this down. Amount is equal to, I'll put simple interest, plus the principal. So what is the principal? The principal we saw earlier from the question is the amount borrowed or loaned. The principal is $5,000. What is the interest that was earned? $900. So that's going to be $900 plus the $5,000. So that means to borrow $5,000 from the bank at a 9% interest, and you're paying this back in 2 years, you would have $5,900 to pay back. So whenever you would hear your parents saying they're going to the bank to borrow some money, the bank gives them a certain time to pay this money back. And you have to pay a certain percentage as well. So 9%, they would have 2 years, they would get their $5,000. But when it's time to pay this back now, they're not just going to pay back the $5,000. They're going to pay also that $900. So the amount to be paid back, if your parents would have borrowed $5,000 from this particular bank at 9% for 2 years, they would have paid back $5,900. Good job. Yes, $5,900. We're going to do one more paper and then I'm going to say farewell. Okay, this one, it's a bit blurry, but you can see all the information. So Mistress Roll purchases a car which costs $10,000. She pays a deposit of $2,000. She borrows the rest of the money from the bank at a simple interest rate of 12%, which is high, per annum for 3 years. First thing, we need to read the question twice. With word problems, always read the question twice. So Miss Roll purchased a car for $10,000. She pays a deposit of $2,000. She borrows the rest of the money from the bank. Someone tell me, how much money did she borrow from the bank? How much money did Miss Roll borrow from the bank? The car costs $10,000. She pays a deposit of $200 and then she borrows the rest from the bank. Good. She borrows $8,000. $8,000 from the bank. She borrows $8,000 from the bank. Thank you. Now, let's understand the question. What is principal? The definition for principal is the amount borrowed or loaned, or the amount that's resting. Okay, the amount borrowed or the amount loaned. Tell me, so I'm going to put that $8,000 here. Because the car cost 10. She had 2,000 already. Okay, so she just went to the bank to borrow the rest of it, which will be the 8,000. Okay, it says calculate the simple interest on the principal. What is the principal? What is the principal? There's a lot of words and there's a lot of numbers in this question, but we are only focusing on the P, the R, and the T. Before you start your question, you will write these on the side. Do not depend on the word problem. You are going to pick out what you need and write them on the side first. So what's the principal? Good, that's correct. What's the principal? I'm waiting on some more persons to tell me what the principal is. Good, the principal is $8,000, not the 10, because that's not what she borrowed. Principal is the amount borrowed or loaned or resting. So $8,000 is the principal. Good. What is the rate? The rate is always in percent amount. Good. The rate is 12. And then what is the time? Good. The time is 3 years. Awesome stuff. Okay. So the rate is 12, principal is 8, and time is 3. Okay. So let's calculate the simple interest on the principal. We need to pull out the formula. And if you memorize it enough, you'll get it. Simple interest is equal to P R T divided by 100. So let's substitute what we know. We know the principal. I will go over here. Principal is 8,000 times rate is 12 times T is 3 multiplied by 100. Zeros cancel out. 2 zeros at the top cancels with 2 zeros at the bottom. I do have an extra 0 at the top, but I do not have an extra 0 to cancel at the bottom, so I have to leave that. So that's going to be 80 times, we can multiply 12 times 3. 12 times 3. So multiply your small numbers together. So 12, 24, 36 over 1. 80 times 36. You're moving fast, Regina. 80 times 36 is 2880. Good, yes. 2880. So the simple interest is as calculate the simple interest on the principal. It is 2880. $2,880. Now, the next question says, how much does she repay to the bank? So they're asking you for the amount. Remember what the amount is. When you borrow, it's not free. You borrow that principal and then you have to pay back the interest as well. So the amount is equal to principal plus simple interest. So the principal was 8,000, correct? There's the principal, 8,000, and this is the interest. So we would have to add those together. So that's 8,000 plus 2880. Good. I see it. Yes. So that means that the amount to be repaid to the bank is 10,880. Okay, So now this question, the last one here, it says she make equal monthly payments of that's 3,000. 3,000. No, that's 300. Let me erase this. Okay, yes, of $300 except for the final month. So if she have to pay back, let me write it here. That's 300, okay, everyone? If she have to pay back 10,880, right? And for every month, it says she make equal monthly payments. So that means for every month, she's going to pay this $300 on this bill. So this seems like higher purchase somewhat, because every month she's going to pay $3,000, except for the final month. But we don't even have to worry about that except for the final month, because that's going to be the answer. So it says she make equal monthly payments of $300. What will I do to this 1080 in order for me to see what will be my final payment? If she's going to pay back 10,880 and every month she pays $300, how would I find what the final month is? Thank you, Janaya. Janaya, what grade you in? Tell me what grade you in. Wow, good. Okay, so she's going to divide, Janaya said. She's going to divide. Janaya, what school are you from? Because I don't know you. What school are you from, Janaya? Inagua All Age. Okay. Okay, so she's going to go ahead and divide 300 into 1080. Now, that's a bit rough to divide by 300 without a calculator. So what I can do is, if you want to go ahead and divide, sure, go ahead and divide. But what we can do is, we can say 300 times, we can use the guess and check method, and we can see how close we get to 10,880. So let's say that, okay, 300, we know if we do 369, that's 3 times 3. And if we say 3 times 300, that's about 900. If we do 3 times 4, that will give me 12, right? Which will be 1,200, which is too big. So I'm going to say, okay, let me take that 300 and multiply it by 9. By 3. Okay, let's take that 300 and multiply it by 3, because I know 3 times 3 is 9. If I go ahead and divide this 300 into 10, I'm going to get closest to 9. So let's see. 3 times 3 is 0. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times this is 9. Okay, so that is too small. Let's go up to, let's try 30. Okay, because I know that 3 times 3 is 9. So I need to multiply this by 30. Let's see what we get. That's 0, 0, 0. Add a 0. So that will give me 0, 0, 9. So that's adding now, 0, 0, 0, 9. So we have, first of all, we have $9,000. Okay, so we know she makes equal monthly payments except for the final month. So that tells me, okay, so 30 months, and if she paid $300, then that would be the 9,000. Right? What if I add an additional 300? I just keep doing it. So that's 10,880. And if I subtract 9,000, subtract 10,880, subtract 9,000, we're left with 1,880. We still have some 300s in there. How many 300s would I have in 1,880? Because remember now, for this exam, we cannot use a calculator. So we're going to have to work this out. So when I subtract this, 1,880. But I still have some 300s in there. So I can take that. Can someone tell me how many 300s do I have in 1,880? How many groups of 300s? 3 times what would give me 18?
6.
6. So that means that I would have 6 more groups of 300s in there. So if I subtract the 6 groups of 300, then I'm left with 1,880 subtract 1,800, $80. So that means that I would have 30 and 6. So that'll be 36 months. That'll be 36 months that she would take to pay this back. So 36 months she would take to pay it back. So if the question had asked, how long will she take to pay this money back? This would have been 36. Now, let's go and find the answer that the question is asking. So that would have been if the question had asked, how many months? Now, the question is asking us, she makes equal monthly payments of 300 except for the final month. So like, I think that was Janaya from Inagua, she said, we can go ahead and we can divide. So let's go ahead and divide 10,880 divided by this 300. What we can do is we can divide by 3 and add the zeros at the end. So 3 goes into 10. How many times? How many times can 3 go into 10? 3. Then we take that 3 and multiply 300 by 3. We're doing long division. We would have 900. Is that too big? Once it's too big, we would have to go down, okay? If it's not too big, then we can keep the number. So because that's not too big, I'm going to write it properly so you can see. We subtract 108, 8 subtract 900. This 9 is under this. Okay, 8, 0, Okay. 3 goes into 188 how many times? Anyone? 3 goes into 188 how many times? When we multiply the 3 by 6, bring down the 0, subtract, so we would have a final, how much would be a final payment? $36. So that would be her final payment. And we can continue this, and this would be rounded to about 26 cents.